The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank each one of you for coming here today. Especially would I like to extend our gratitude to our friends in the media. You, as you know, are always welcome at Carson-Newman, and we certainly appreciate all of your good work and what it means to Carson-Newman University. And it's good to see each of you in the Carson-Newman family and distinguished guests as well. I really didn't know what kind of turnout we would have today in the middle of the summer with vacations and other responsibilities and getaways and so forth. But we had a great meeting of coaches and the entire athletics department at 12 noon, a full house there. And then here today, I see so many important players in the life of the university here and in the athletics program. So thank each one of you for taking the time out of your busy schedules or even vacation times. I know Tatum and Coach Bergstrom and Mincy drove in from Louisville where they were up recruiting. Anything for brownie points with the new AD. And I see so many of our head coaches and associate or assistant coaches here in the last hour. But I do believe, looking at the turnout of the men's basketball program, Coach Benson must have a PhD in brown nosing. I would imagine that the largest amount of appropriations will now go to men's basketball, but it's actually great to see each one of you. I would like to say in all seriousness that the athletics director at Carson-Newman is an extremely important post. So much so that we have elevated the post to vice president for athletics. The athletics director will be with our coaches, our assistant coaches, our entire athletics program in the trenches, fighting with you and fighting for you. But he will also be a full-fledged member of the president's cabinet, battling there for you with appropriations and other matters. So we are very grateful to name an athletics director, a vice president for athletics of the caliber of Matthew Pope today. He has experience all over this part of the country and various programs that he may care to share with you. I will leave that to his discretion, but his references from across the country have come in impressive fashion. The reason we are actually having the press conference today instead of a few days earlier is because our new VP for Athletics was presiding at the National Athletics Conference in Washington, D.C., where one of our trustees, the great Joan Cronin, sent me a text showing the bold announcement at the National Conference of Matthew Pope being named Athletics Director at Carson-Newman University. So along with great universities such as Ohio State and Penn State and Southern Cal and Florida and Tennessee and fill in the blank, Carson-Newman had a strong presence there, and we're very grateful that Matthew Pope is representing us so well already on the national level. There are many things that I could say about Matt because I have heard them for weeks, more than a month now, from people calling in, AD at SMU, the AD at Ole Miss, Associate AD at Alabama, the AD at Marshall, and at other places. But I think you're here to meet the new AD and VP for Athletics, not to hear me wax eloquent. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to our media, to our friends, on behalf of the entire Carson-Newman family, the newest addition to the Carson-Newman family, our Vice President for Athletics, Mr. Matthew Pope.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's too kind. And thank you, Dr. O'Brien, for those kind words, and I really appreciate that. I'm going to put on some glasses so I can read, because I don't want to neglect some people that I would like to thank. It's truly a blessing to be here today, to be introduced as the Vice President and Director of Athletics here at Carson-Newman. My talk today will be short. I want to share a brief personal introduction, including 3 simple messages that will serve as my focal points in the days to come. But first, there's quite a few folks that I would like to take a moment to thank for making today possible. In 1987, I met Claudia Whitlow while we were both on vacation with our parents, and she didn't want to go to the beach. And her dad said, "Come on, go with us. You never know who you might meet." And her response to that was, "You never meet anybody good at the beach." Well, we believe it's God's plan for us to have met 31 years ago, and last April 21st, we celebrated our 28th wedding anniversary. After that, God blessed us with a daughter, Anna, and our son, Tyler. Our daughter, Anna Ferrero, was married last August to our oldest son of our best friends, who we happened to meet at church in Cary, North Carolina, at Cary First Baptist, back in 1991, before either one of them were born. When they were born, we used to joke one day they might get married, and we were joking, but it happened. We believe that was God's plan, and the funny thing is, my son-in-law proposed to my daughter at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So God's got a sense of humor. Due to his work, Anna's husband, Garrison, couldn't be with us today. Our son, Tyler, is here with his girlfriend, Haley Vandergriff. He's a rising junior at Tennessee Tech University, majoring in business. Although they're not here, I would like to recognize my father, Hugh, and my twin brother, Chris. My twin brother is also in athletics administration. They mean the world to me, and I just wanted to recognize them. They couldn't be here because of other responsibilities. After my relationship with God through my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, my family means the most to me. And without their love and support and the outgoing prayers and encouragement of our family and friends, today would not have been possible. I love you all so much. I would be remiss if I didn't mention a few other folks who have counseled me and guided me along the way. People like Rick Hart, the AD at SMU, that Dr. O'Brien mentioned, Todd Turner, Ross Bjork, Cheryl Levick, Jeff Allen, Tom Thomas, Kevin Braswell, my VP at Tennessee Tech, Mike Hamrick, Steve Sloan, and so many others. I want to thank our friends and in Cookeville, as well as Chattanooga, along with many colleagues and even some donors at TTU for their encouragement and support of today. We really love and appreciate them as well. Thank you all to the individuals who helped facilitate this process. Representative Harry Brooks, Mr. David Ogle, Mr. Bobby Tuck, and our interim athletics director, Mr. Eddie Carter. My deepest thanks go to Dr. Randall O'Brien and Mr. Alan Morgan. What a great conversation we had about a month ago. A little bit personal about me. I earned my Bachelor of Physical Education from the University of North Carolina back in 1989. I went back a few years later and got my Master's in Sport Administration in 1994. I'm also the graduate of the Sports Management Institute Executive Program, which at that time was held on the campuses of Notre Dame and the University of South Carolina. For the last 3 years, I worked at Tennessee Tech, and as the Director of Development, my position was enhanced to also be the Director of Development for the College of Arts and Sciences and the College of Interdisciplinary Studies. So on top of my athletics role, I also had some fundraising role with 2 different colleges. Prior to that, I was at Towson University for a time. I spent about 14 years at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. Prior to that, it was the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Before that, Western Kentucky, and then Arkansas, Little Rock before that. Having lived in East Tennessee for the last 18 years and being well acquainted with the many alumni, and since my kids have grown up in the state, now students here at Carson-Newman, I'm well aware of the storied athletics department, and when I heard of Alan Morgan's retirement, I decided to be bold and mail Dr. O'Brien a letter introducing myself. I full well understood that Previous ADs, Frosty Holt, Ken Sparks, David Barger, and Alan Morgan, were all sons of Carson-Newman. So I had no preconceived notions. After weeks going by and not hearing anything regarding the position, I told Claudia that it probably wasn't going to happen. And she looked me in the eye and she said, "You don't know what God has in store." And so, as we had always done, we kept praying about our family and my career and where that may take us. And a few days later, Dr. O'Brien reached out to me, and Mr. Morgan and Dr. O'Brien and I had lunch together, and they had occasion to meet with me. And when I first met Dr. O'Brien, I was very impressed with his Christian service leadership style, as well as his and Alan's vision for an athletics department of national distinction, and that really excited me. Now I carry into this role 3 simple messages that I wanted to leave you with. Number 1, we will strive for and embrace excellence in all that we do. And that doesn't necessarily mean winning, that's excellence. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. We will graduate student athletes. That is our first obligation. We will operate with integrity. We will support the development of the entire student athlete. We will relentlessly pursue championships. We will retain and, when necessary, hire the best coaches and staff possible. People I believe we already have, but people of great character. We will aggressively pursue opportunities to enhance and grow our resources. We will engage our university, Jefferson City, and other communities to encourage them to support and be enthusiastic about Eagle athletics. Number 2, we'll be focused on the well-being of our student athletes. Keys will be their success spiritually, academically, athletically, and socially. I look forward to working with our coaches, staff, faculty, and university leaders to ensure that we are just as focused on student-athlete well-being as we are on competitive success. Academic excellence and competitive success are not mutually exclusive objectives. We will compete both in the classroom and in competition with equal intensity. As we model the Christian behaviors we wish for them to adopt, our student-athletes will earn their degrees and become productive servant leaders of society. Lastly, number 3, we will actively engage our community, working together to advance the university and our athletics programs. I sense that there's an eagerness to support our athletics programs on a high level as we compete in the South Atlantic Conference and nationally. We will communicate clearly while engaging all of our constituents and stakeholders. We will invite them to become involved in our success and to celebrate with us as we progress. Some will want to support academic excellence. Some will want to support competitive excellence. Some will support us by enhancing our facilities, and some will support us by hiring our students. We hope to partner with each of them in a powerful and meaningful way. I look forward to getting to know each of you and listening to your thoughts as we strengthen our relationships, all in support of Carson-Newman University's mission. In closing, I would again like to thank Dr. Randall O'Brien and the Board of Trustees. It's truly a blessing and honor to be entrusted with the responsibility of becoming the Vice President and Director of Athletics at Carson-Newman University. I also wish to again thank former Director of Athletics Alan Morgan for his leadership, collaborative spirit, and personal support during this transition process. I realize full well that I have very big shoes to fill. And as Sir Isaac Newton said, "If I've seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." To be his successor and to build on the tradition of excellence that he, David Barger, Ken Sparks, Frosty Holt, our staff, coaches, faculty, and most important, our student athletes have built over the past years is extremely exciting to me. I believe that our best days in athletics are definitely ahead of us. So God bless you, and go Eagles.
Questions from Matt? Have you been working on your comedic timing? Alan is a showman, to say the least. Have you worked on anything like that?
I have a sense of humor, if that's what you're asking. I haven't been working on it, but it is a work in progress. I'm a little younger, so I've got my performance is not as seasoned yet. He's a master. I'm just an apprentice.
Man, I would like to apply for a job. These past week's killing me.
What attracted you to Carson-Newman?
Well, being a Christian, the opportunity to lead a department of athletics in a Christian university was very appealing to me. Having lived here for 18 years with my family, we moved here in 2001, and living in East Tennessee, we've become very well acquainted with Carson-Newman University. And in fact, Garrison, my son-in-law's father, reminded me of a basketball team that we had at church in Cary. We had a young man that was on our team that always wore his Carson-Newman basketball shirt. So I've known of Carson-Newman for some time, and it excites me to be a part of this storied program and to lead it.
You mentioned a little bit about the coaches and the programs that are here. This has obviously been the most successful overall season in history. You're kind of being handed the keys to a Ferrari already running.
Yeah, let's go find out how fast it can go.
There you go.
No, Alan Morgan is to be commended. He is a tremendous example of what an athletics director should be and is. And I feel very honored to follow in his footsteps. And like I said, he has been very collaborative and helpful, and I anticipate bending his ear as often as he'll let me. But as you said, this program is in great shape, finished 21 in the Learfield standings. Football program getting ready to start off at the #1 program in the country. I'm excited to go do something and take names, and we'll do well. I'm excited.
Well, Matt, if the football team doesn't win a national championship, it's all on Mike Turner.
Anything else for Mr. Pope? All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.